Spring stillwater fishing often finds trout feeding throughout the water column. Fish are intercepting buzzers and emerging insects. One of the most reliable ways of covering all the depths from a drifting boat is the washing line method. Today, I want to explain why it works and how it helps you find fish through the water column. So without further ado, let's get into it. Early season trout can often be found close to the bank or in roughly 10 foot of water. Natural food like buzzers, small nymphs and shrimp sit just below the surface. If your flies sink too quickly, you're fishing under the fish. The washing line keeps flies suspended where trout are actively feeding. Okay, let's talk about the setup. The basic setup is really simple. What I've got is a loop Z1 rod here. It's a 10 foot for a 7, and attached to that I've got a slow sinking midge tip. Now, to my first fly, I currently have 10 feet, but this is changeable. It depends on where you want and what effect you want to achieve with your washing line setup. Now, key to the whole thing really is the buoyant fly on the point, and commonly used is boobies and fabs, and they're really effective at keeping the remainder of your cast up. So what would you fish up? Now, I'm currently fishing 3 flies up, and I've found to my folly that's not a good idea here at Grafham, because caught 3 fish and they smashed my cast to pieces, unfortunately. But there we go, that's where we're at with that. If you're in heavily stocked water or you know you're around a lot of fish, I would advise you go down to 3 or even 2 flies, and you've got a good chance of landing them then. But nonetheless, currently I'm fishing a fab, but I very often like to fish a booby. Now, a booby will fish higher in the water column than a fab. Because I'm fishing a really slow sink tip, I've also got hare's ears and dial back type patterns on my cast rather than heavy buzzers. I've seen a few fish in the surface, and I want my cast to be sitting kind of in the top 3 or 4 feet of water. Now, what you'll find generally at this time of year is fish will sit in comfortable water. And what do I mean by that? They'll be quite close to the bank, or at least 10 to 12 feet of water. That's where they're comfortable. And that's the area you want to try and keep your flies. So how does the physics work? It's fairly simple. The buoyant fly suspends your buzzers or your nymphs, shrimps, whatever it is you've got on your droppers just below the surface. So when you fish, they hang naturally from your line, which is an amazing technique, especially in this crystal clear water. At Grafham, we've got this zebra midge, and they absolutely do a sterling job of keeping the water crystal clear. So you see everything. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, if I wanted to achieve depth and I thought the fish were sitting lower down, let's say 7 to 9 feet, I might have used buzzers, so super glue buzzers, Vickers buzzers on my droppers. Now, what that would do is it would drag my cast down that bit deeper, and it would drag the fab down with that, and vice versa. If I wanted to fish much higher in the water column, and I currently do, I would fish a small fab on the point, and I would be fishing sort of size 12, size 14s even on the droppers, and that would keep my cast nice and high in the water. Now, the thing with a drifting boat is that you've got to keep up with your fly line. What I've had a couple of times today is the little jabs, and I've failed to connect with the fish, and the reason for that is I'm not in touch with, I've not got direct contact to my flies, and that's why the fish have just not stuck. And when I have been concentrating, I've nailed a few fish now, and it's been good, actually. The sport's been superb here at Grafham. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off here, and I'll join you a little bit later with a bit more insight into the washing line. Guys, I'm going to stop for the moment, and I want to ask a huge favour. If you're watching on a mobile phone, please like the video and then hype the video. You can only do this on a mobile phone. Now, if you're watching on your big telly, and I know most of you are nowadays, it's strange how YouTube's changed over the years. It used to be tablets and laptops, and now you're on the telly watching YouTube, and I do it myself. It's fantastic. But a lot of the time, a lot of people don't know how to like videos when they're watching on their telly. So I'm going to help you out. What you do is you click up until you see everything, and then you click up again, and you can click along until you get that thumbs up button or the thumbs down button. It's up to you, but I'll leave that in your hands. But please do give the video a like. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, well, let me tell you, it's absolutely free. It's a special offer this week, absolutely free. You can subscribe away and it will not cost you a single penny. So hit the subscribe button, and I'm going to get back to the fishing. Thanks.
Take the step. You don't have to wait. Lose that breath. You don't gotta change. Stay on the road, you're working time. Stay on the road.
Well, we've got absolutely perfect conditions today, and as the morning starts to drift into the afternoon, the sun's starting to burn through that fog that we had, and the day's warmed up. I've de-shedded my layers, and I'm now fairly comfortable in just a sort of fleece top. But this morning I had every item of clothing I owned on. It was bitter cold, and in the car park the wind was blowing right in, and it's coming from the north, so it had a bite to it. But it's very, very pleasant now. So I've been fishing in amongst a fair old fleet of boats actually. There's a lot of boats out today, and there's a lot of the boats have anchored. And I was very lucky that I was parked up next to, not parked, I'm drifting, or drifting as best I can. But I was drifting next to a boat, 46, and it was John Blake, and I could hear the kerfuffle going on behind me. And sure enough, you always know from the whoops and the roars of success that somebody's caught a really nice fish. And so they very kindly waved me over, and I got to video this brown trout. I would estimate it was definitely into the double figures, and it was such a stunning creature. It had an amazing tail, and they took the time. Conscientious anglers, John and his partner, they worked together to recuperate the fish, made sure that it was good to go before it was released back into the water for hopefully another angler to catch and enjoy. So as the day is warming up, I can see the odd buzzer coming off. There's not loads of them yet, but I reckon another 4 or 5 days of this weather, and you will have an absolute ball if you come here and just straight line buzzers. Never mind the washing line. Perhaps I should have been doing the straight line buzzer fishing today, because I bet it's absolutely on fire in another week or so. And luckily I'm back in a couple of weeks for the affiliation of major fly fishing clubs, so I'll really be looking forward to that event. Now, rather than just casting directly in front of myself, I'm casting out at an angle. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to get my flies fishing around the boat. Now, there's two reasons for this. Generally speaking, if there was a better wind, fish would be swimming up the wind. They track upwind, generally speaking. It's not always the case. So if your 4 flies are stretched out across the wind, there's more chance that a fish will see them and take them. Now, the other reason that I like to have out at an angle is it's a distance from the boat. So as my cast gets nearer the boat, I can hang my flies at distance, and they won't be spooked by this big huge boat that I'm sat in. Not to mention this big huge arse that I'm sat on. But so that is another factor. You know, you want to get your flies as far away as possible. Hence I'm fishing a 22-foot cast. The other thing is, when it's at an angle like this and you've got that wind, you get a little bow in your line, and you can use that as an indication to when you're getting more subtle takes. It can be very effective. But at the moment, what I'm looking to do is simply just keep a tight line to my fly patterns. So very often, a lot of beginners to the sport, they say, oh, I had a take. And the reason they had a take rather than they bent their rod into a fish is because they had slack in their system. Now, I'm creating slack by doing nothing. Luckily, we're almost in a flat cam, so it's not making much odds. I'd probably hook any fish that took my flies at the moment. But if the boat was moving and I created slack in the system, more than likely I would just get a tug and then I wouldn't get the fish because they've taken it and expelled it before you've had a chance to set the hook. Now, if you're concentrating and you've got no slack in your system, those takes turn into fish to the net. The washing line, it really shines when fish are feeding at a specific depth. You can tune into that and you can keep your flies in that taking zone for a much longer period of time. Now, if I was fishing straight through buzzers and the fish are feeding at 4 feet, it's not 20 seconds and all my flies, all of them, are below the fish, and you're no longer fishing for them, you're fishing for whatever's below those fish. Whereas if I use the washing line technique, I can keep my flies in that killing zone a lot longer. The other time it can be super effective is when fish are cruising actively on the surface. So when they're doing this, I like to fish with a booby on the point. And the reason for that is I can create disturbance in the surface with the booby pattern. This is often a magnet to bring fish into your cast. So they may not take the booby, but very often they will take the buzzers or the nymphs that you've got suspended on your washing line cast. Of course, it always helps when the water is crystal clear. Fish can see a lot more than we know, and even in dirty water they've got pretty good vision. You know, they've got to feed whether they're in dirty water or not, but here at Grapham the water is crystal clear and they can see those flies from a good distance away. So if you've got contact, you're going to get them. Well, I've had to put some sun cream on, I can't believe it. Sun cream in March? Unheard of. So the sport's steady away, I'm still picking fish up. I don't feel the need to adjust my cast any, but that's the beauty of the washing line. If something's not working out, you can always adjust one fly. So changing from a fab to a booby would affect the way they've cast fishes. But I don't feel the need to do that. I'm still getting lots of sport, plenty of pools, fish to the boat. It's been absolutely superb. It feels more like a summer's day now than it does a spring day. But I'll tell you what's really heartening is to see the fishery so busy. So the banks are lined with anglers and there's plenty of boats out. It's great to see people getting out and giving fly fishing a go. In years gone by, the usual sort of scheme of things is the boats couldn't get close enough to the bank to be effective and the bank anglers would be having an absolute ball. But certainly what I've found today is the fish are about 100 yards off the bank, and it's very difficult for the bank anglers to get out to these fish. Hey ho, what comes around goes around, I suppose. So I'm actually catching the fish on both the colour I have on the point and the buzzer patterns. So that's good. All the flies seem to be working, which is what you want. I think that's a wee blue trout there, unless I'm mistaken. Cracking. Great stuff. Well, as the day's heating up, the sport's just coming alive, really. It's superb. When I was on the jetty this morning, Lloydie, who works here as a warden, said, you know, what's your plan for today? I said, well, I'm going to get myself over the North Shore and get a bit of shelter for that freezing cold wind. Little did I know that it was going to turn into be a roasting day. So I've been smashed up a couple of times now on double shooter fish, and what I've decided to do is to try and alleviate that problem. It's a nice problem to have, don't get me wrong, but to try and alleviate that problem, I've reduced my cast down to 3 flies. I've not had a double up since, but you know, I just thought I can't keep smashing up casts like this, so gone to 3 flies. Seems to be working just as well. So let's get this fish right back and we'll get on and try and catch another. One of the real strengths of the washing line is how quickly it tells you where the fish are sitting in the water column. You don't need electronics or guesswork, just pay attention to where the takes are coming from. If you're getting takes on the top dropper, the fish are right up near the surface. If it's the middle flies, they're sitting a little deeper. And if the point fly's doing the heavy lifting, they're either lower down or reacting to that bit of movement or colour. Once you've worked that out, you can start refining things. Maybe lengthen or shorten the leader nearest to the fly line, change fly sizes or swap droppers around until it all lines up. In terms of flies, I tend to keep it fairly straightforward. On the droppers it's usually buzzers, dialbacks or crunchers. Even small shrimp patterns can be useful. Nothing too complicated, just suggestive flies that fish well. On occasion I will try a team of small cormorants, but usually I stick with the nymphs and buzzers. On the point, I'll run something buoyant like a fab or a booby. That fly's doing a few jobs. It helps balance the cast, adds a bit of attraction and keeps everything fishing up in the right part of the water. As for the retrieve, it doesn't need to be fancy. A cast at about a 45-degree angle across the drift, then a slow figure of 8, maybe the odd pause or long pull. Quite often it's nearly static when the takes come. This method really comes into its own when trout are feeding at a set depth, especially early season when the water's still cool and there's plenty of buzzers about. It's ideal on large still waters, particularly from a drifting boat, and it really suits clear water where fish are up and actively feeding. At the end of the day, there's nothing complicated about the washing line. It's just a simple way of keeping your flies where the trout are. And when they're sitting higher in the water in spring, it's still one of the most reliable tactics we have. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Well, I keep saying to myself, I'll catch one more fish and then I'm going to stop for lunch. And I just caught one more fish. And I'm going to catch one more fish and I'm going to stop for lunch, I promise. I dare say you won't be too interested in me eating a cheese butty that I made last night. And I've been using Nando's spicy jam on it. Bloody really picks up a cheese butty, I can tell you.